Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. You know, some number of us here enjoy playing this Dungeons and Dragons, and some subset of us have kids too. And we wonder, how can we get our kids to play Dungeons and Dragons? How can we get them excited about it when they're old enough? And we realize there's kind of a pathway, gateway drugs, you might say, to get there. You know, Descent 2nd Edition. Pretty good way to get started on that. It's a lot more structured than Dungeons & Dragons. Doesn't really require as much imagination. It's more of just a regular complex board game, but maybe that's a little too complex to start with. And so we might say a good way to move towards this is to first start with Hero Quest, which of course I featured on this channel a lot. About a year ago, I made 5 or 6 videos about it. And how might you get kids interested in this? Well, there's always Beast Quest. Yes, Beast Quest, all these books. You know, there are about 140 of these books now. And the really great thing about it is they are written for the young audience, specifically the young male audience, though there is I guess you call them the secondary character in the book, is Elena, the travel companion of Tom, the main character. And just like Pokemon, Tom is a young 10 years old and goes out to save the world. And of course he's put on these quests by his mentor, Aduro the mage, and Malvol the evil mage is the antagonist through all these books. Now, like I said, there's about 146 of these books now. Of course, Adam Blade, what a great name, but it's a pen name for several different authors who write these. But these have a very high fantasy setting to them. And so Tom goes out and he ends up collecting all kinds of magical artifacts. And he fights these magnificent beasts. And of course he wins because he's pure of heart and he's brave. And he has all these great qualities that we'd like to teach our sons. And, you know, with the current landscape of comic books, where basically most comic book companies are trying to commit suicide as fast as they can, and the dearth of good literature coming out nowadays, looking back to these kind of books that were released in the mid-2000s, at least the first one was at the start of the mid-2000s, you know, it was a different time for writing and for creating media, especially for children. And so my kids love these. You know, I would say about age 5 or 6 is the right age to start reading them to your kids. And maybe 6, 7, 8 years old is around the right age where they could read them to themselves. They're pretty simple books. They're pretty short. In fact, my wife and I kind of joke about how comically short they can be sometimes. You know, Tom will go out and he'll go to the mountain where he thinks the beast is, and then he'll encounter the beast, and you know, you'll have about 8 pages from arriving at the mountain through the climax of the story, through the denouement, and the end. And so it doesn't require a giant attention span. And of course, the types of beasts cover all different mythologies that we're familiar with. And I just put 12 out here, but, you know, all of the early ones up through about, say, number 40 or 50 or so, you can regularly find them on eBay for $2, $3, $4 each in lots. In fact, that's how I got most of these. A friend originally introduced us to these and gave us several, and then I bought a bunch more. But if you're looking for new ones, they're on Amazon. They sell them in huge sets. So I'll put a link to that down below. But I think this is a really great way to get your kids into this kind of high fantasy type of adventure stuff that, you know, that we all love here by virtue that, hey, we're Magic the Gathering fans. We love D&D and these other kinds of things. So when we're reading these to our kids, you know, our oldest kid is just kind of on the edge of his seat, and he gets excited and he gets kind of anxious, and, you know, there's suspense and there's very light terror elements to these books, and they're just exciting and well made for kids of that age. So, you know, keep this in mind if you're like me and you're always thinking, how can I manipulate my kids over a long period of time into liking the things I like, which is basically the whole reason anyone has kids anyway. But if that's something that you're interested in, give these books a try. They're actually really good. So let me know what you think, guys. Do any of you already have some familiarity with these? Let me know how it works out. And, how old did your kids get and they still enjoy this stuff? So that's what I'm curious about, because right now at this moment we have maybe 30 of these books, but I'm not particularly keen on going out and buying another 120 today, but I just wonder how long these will remain interesting to my kids. Let me know if you have an answer to that. Otherwise, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join me on Final Trade. Thanks a lot, everyone.